It's a shot of the rat, and now that I've finished with my medium introduction cage because the rats have moved on to the large cage, I thought it would be interesting to use it to show you guys how I set up a rat cage. So here we have my medium cage, as I said, and I'm just going to show you guys exactly how I go about doing this. So to start, I always put in some bedding. I know some people use fleece, but I personally use yesterday's news as my main bedding. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the cage right now. Okay, so after I have the bedding in the cage, I consider what I call my rat essentials. And these are basically the items that I think are the minimal stuff that you should have in a rat cage. This would include some sort of hide that the rats can sleep in that will go on your ground level, so something like this here. The next thing I would include would be something like a hammock or something that hangs. So for example, here I have 2 spider hammocks and I can just put some fleece in them. After that, you have your customary food. So here you see I have my food hopper dish thing. This is actually for birds, it's really cool. And then after that, it would have to be water bottles like these. And then I would include some sort of toy. It can be a foraging toy or just some sort of play toy. So for example, I would consider a PCV pipe to cover this, or some sort of foraging thing like a bird toy or a hanging kebab or whatever. This is just the minimum. Of course, I'm going to be putting more, but I just thought I would cover exactly what I mean by rat essentials before going on. So to get started, I am going to be putting stuff on the bottom of my cage. You can see the way that this cage is made. I kind of have to take off the top in order to put stuff in it. So I'm going to put this in there first. This has a hole cut out in it, and it's perfect for the rats to sleep in. I know my rat Cream really likes to sleep in underground stuff like that, so I'm definitely going to keep that in there. The next thing I have is some sort of house. Again, this is the house. Just going to put that right on top. This house here is just for them to sleep inside. I can put some maybe tissues in there to make it softer and easier to sleep on. The next thing I want to do is put some other toys in there. I'm not going to get to the hammocks yet because, like I said, I don't really have a way to attach them until I put the cage top on. So I'm going to put my space pod in the cage, and I'm actually going to put some felt inside this first. So here you see I have a piece of felt. I'm just going to fold it up, put it inside the space pod so they have something nice to sleep on. Just right inside like that. And I think I'm going to put the space pod here. The next thing I'm going to put in there is this PCV pipe. I think these are really fun for the rats, so I definitely want to have one in there. Maybe I will just do something like that. So the next thing I'm going to put in there is this tube thing. So I'm just going to put that right there. So now I've kind of covered the basic level area. However, I need to leave some space for food and water, of course. So now I'm going to put the hammocks in the cage. So first I have to put on the top of my cage here. And you can see it fits very well, just like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and put stuff in the cage. So the first thing I'm going to put in there is this pink thing. It's just going to act as the second level of sorts and also kind of like a hammock. And I'm going to put some fleece over it, well actually this is felt, in order to make it more comfy for the rats to stand on. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to put on will be this wire shelf right here. And I'm just going to slip that under. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the rats' water and food, along with their food over here. So I'm going to be using a large hammock for this cage this time. Just going to put that in. Okay, so here's an overview of the cage, and as you can see, I was able to fit in some more stuff, including this bird hammock hut thing over here, and this chewing kebab. So as you can see, I've covered my rat essentials. I have the house, actually I have several of them. I also have some hammocks. I have the water. I have food, and I have many different things as enrichment tube down here. I have this kebab. I have some levels. Altogether, it's a pretty good cage. So as you notice, this is a very stuffed cage. I've pretty much taken up every single open spot in this cage. And the reason for that is because, well, rats are prey animals. They really enjoy having lots of hidey holes and lots of places to hide, and they actually feel a lot safer in a cluttered area. That's why I always recommend cluttering your cages as much as possible. I know it doesn't look maybe that pretty, but it does a really good job in terms of keeping the rats happy and active. So yeah, I'm going to put my rats in here and then I'll show you what they look like as they explore. Espresso. Oreo. Cookie. And cream. I'm just going to close it so they don't get out on me. So yeah, you can see they're exploring, they're going to enjoy themselves, and that is really all that matters. So this isn't actually their permanent cage, however it is a decent sized cage. I was using it for introductions, and as I was saying, it's much easier for me to show you how I decorate a smaller cage, which is why I'm using this one. So yeah, hopefully this gives you guys some ideas on how to decorate your own rat cages. After this, I think I'm going to show you some clips of my completed cages and how they're decorated. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some ideas on how to decorate your cage. If you guys would like more rat care tips or rat trick training tips, feel free to visit my website at www.rattricks.weebly.com, link in the description. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!